Okay, computer died. Did I lose everything that I just filmed? Wait, hold please. Yep, I did. Okay, so we're starting over. Hi, how are you? Do you like my sardine coffee cup? This is by Crow Canyon, and it's in collaboration with some artist whose name I cannot pronounce. I'm here avoiding responsibilities of packing, getting my house ready to leave. I'm going on a trip for almost a month. I fly tonight on a red eye to Rome to visit my mom for 2 nights and then continuing on for a few more weeks. So I have a to-do list of all these things I need to do, and I have done a little bit. Anything related to the person that's coming to watch Jacob, I did do. I did prioritize all of Jacob's info, but I have not done the other stuff. But I'm like a really, really last-minute packer anyway, so I definitely would not be sitting here like 3 days before packed. Probably pack at 6 p.m. and leave at 9 p.m. Anyways, I did want to talk to you about the books that I'm reading. So, a la Eleanor from The Only Real Property, where she talks about her literary week, I would like to do the same. I'm trying to think if there's anything important that I said when I recorded this the first time that now I'm forgetting. Oh, I know that you were dying after my last video to get an update on the original tinned fish candle, because don't you just put everything else in your life on hold to wait for me to talk to you about a candle update? It is cute. It is very, very cute, but it is totally not worth the money, I must say. It burns very poorly, like very quickly. So, and like look at all of this wax that's unused basically, and I can no longer light this candle anymore. Like it won't light, and I only used it twice. So I wish that they would sort of figure out how to use all the wax, you know what I mean? Now I have all this wax in here that is an unfortunate waste to me. So if I was a different kind of person, I would melt this down and make a new candle, but I'm just really not that kind of person. I would say I would do it and then I would never do it. So I'm reading like a pair of books right now, which is an interesting dynamic for me. And I'm really enjoying both of them, and they're both very different from one another. And the first one is also very different for me, which is I'm reading the Iliad by Homer. This is the translation by Emily Wilson, and I will gush about her in a moment. The Iliad, it's the great Homer epic Greek poem taking place in the Trojan War. I am someone that is very nervous, intimidated, scared by the great books of the literary canon, especially classics or really epics like this. I mean, simply because of the size, because of the difficulty that normally can come with reading books like that for me. It was time, and I'd kind of talked with like two very specific women in my life who really enjoy Greek myth and Greek kind of epics, and just kind of talking with them about the Iliad and about just this sort of, you know, long-standing, masterful craft of this kind of book. Like the reason why we have a translation that comes out a few years ago from a book that's so old, like, means something about the writing, of course. So I was just in the mood. I was in the mood for branching out and a bit like upping my game, that it felt like. Emily Wilson is the translator of this. Also, a female translator to me was very, very attractive. I was suddenly like, yes, I will try to read the Iliad if it's translated by a woman. All the other ones are translated by men, and it's amazing. I'm loving it so much. Emily Wilson makes this book so fascinating, so interesting, so exciting. You feel her obsession with Homer and the Iliad in this book. It's like reading a great, 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 book of history and reading someone's like passion project of it, which I find really fun and fascinating. She makes it so readable, so accessible, and like juicy and fun, while being so smart and so, just obsessed with the act of translation and how we get a story from the antiquity to our modern world, So there's an introduction that's about like I think like 80 pages long, and it's amazing. It's amazing. I wish Emily Wilson was like my history teacher. Like I would like her to talk to me about everything that's ever happened in the history of our world, because then maybe I would get into it. History was always like a really hard subject for me. I see dates and I'm like that meme with that like woman like looking at all of the math equations. My mind just doesn't really work with like a timeline and like placing things on that timeline also in relation to each other. Like while this is being written, what's happening politically or what's happening in that country or what's happening. Like that's a fucking wash for me, okay? She has made me so into this. And what's like more juicy than an epic Greek mythological poem? The Iliad is made of 24 books, and I'm on book 9, so not quite halfway. I'm doing a lot of highlighting, annotating. Really, it's worth reading the introduction to this book, just for Emily Wilson's writing on the Iliad before her beautiful translation. So yeah, we're in the Trojan War. Greeks against the Trojans. Many, many characters, but a lot of main characters. Achilles on the side of the Greeks. Hector on the side of the Trojans. We've got Helen, of course, which is the reason why the whole fucking Trojan War is going on, because this little messy Aphrodite has promised Helen to the son of the king of Troy, Priam's son. But Helen is already married, right? So then we take somebody's wife, and the men obviously start freaking out and fighting, and they start the Trojan War. Actually, everyone wants to blame it on Helen, when actually it's fucking Aphrodite's fault, and she likes the drama. Aphrodite's a mess. And a lot of male ego. Going into the Iliad, from the introduction, you know everything that happens. Like, there is no plot point that is left unknown to you. Like, you kind of go into reading this knowing everything about the plot, so that you can really enjoy the language of the poem itself. That was really nice for me, because I was worried that I would get caught up in the linguistics of the poem and like not understand what's going on. And so it's really great to get the introduction and then to go into the poem itself. Very fun to like branch out of your normal wheelhouse when it comes to anything but reading, and it be like really successful and fun and exciting. And I see this as a book that I will reread, that I'll come back to. Emily Wilson's obsession with it has kind of ignited an obsession with it in myself, in my little way. I do want to take this, well, I'm in two minds about it. I want to take this on my trip, but it's big, it's heavy, so it's not like the most travel. It doesn't make like the most sense to travel with, although it's like one book that I take and my Kindle, which gives me options of many books. But, if I take this, and it's just like that's what I'm dedicating all my travel reading to, is this, which can be fun. At the same time, I'm going to have to lug it around everywhere. So I'm in like two minds about it, but I'm afraid that I will get on the plane tonight and like not have it. So I'm probably gonna take it. And on the other side of my reading is another kind of epic thing, which is an anthology called Sluts. So this is totally in a different direction. Not that the figures in the Iliad aren't slutty. They are. This is Sluts, an anthology edited by Michelle T. I saw this in a bookstore the other day and then almost bought it. It was really beautiful. It's a Semiotext book. If you're familiar with Semiotext, the publications, the books are always really beautiful. And this is a kind of imprint or like a collaboration between Semiotext and a press called Dopamine. And Dopamine is gonna work with Semiotext the plan is to release once a year a different anthology. So this one is on Sluts. There was a digital copy available from the library. It's an anthology about kind of diving in, at least the first few, we're sort of looking into even the etymology of the word slut and how it's been used over time. Before the 1600s, the word slut was in use in Shakespeare's poems. It was in his poems that it started to be referred to sexually as a woman that is sexually messy, but the actual word was already used before the 1600s. A king or a queen, or if someone was sluttish, it meant that they were messy. It didn't specify sexually messy, just messy. Yeah, so the first, I think, piece in this book kind of takes us through sort of how the word slut as a slang, as a rebranding, like slut era, and where it's going in our language. This is an anthology of lots of different things. So essays, fiction, there's like a kind of prose poem type of piece that is more just of a kind of erotic nature. Michelle T, I think, wanted to get together a bunch of writers that she really appreciated and she really liked and she really wanted to involve in a project and basically kind of like see what they would write on the theme of sluts. All different types of approaches, writers that are also coming from very different backgrounds. A lot of trans writers are in this anthology, which was a selling point for me. I want to read more trans voices. I think that these two are like such an interesting pair. Something very old, something very contemporary. Most of the pieces in this so far have been like quite short, and you know, the Iliad is 24 books and each book can be, 50 pages or something. So it reads still kind of quickly because it's a poem. It's not like a full block of text all the way across the page, but like I'm not gonna just pop into a book in the Iliad like on my 5-minute train ride or something. Like I'm gonna sit down and read a book or two or three. And with the Sluts anthology, I'm just kind of like can dip in and out of it. So it's also, these are matching me depending on where my, how much time I have, the reading mood I'm in. Those are my two, that's my eclectic literary week. If you celebrated Thanksgiving, I hope you had a good holiday. I'm very, very thankful for all of you and very thankful that you watch this channel and that you reach out and that you write me messages and that we talk about books and that you comment. And even if we don't interact, I just appreciate your time. And it's been really so, I mean, I can talk about this forever, but the community from BookTube has helped me so much in my actual non-virtual life. Like, really, really helped me. I'm just so thankful for that. Like, I can really look at the last year of my life, year and a half of my life, and think if BookTube wasn't there, like I didn't engage with that at all, like I don't know how we would have even like moved to the US and like moved back here, and just like so many like really big, huge life things, I have to be thankful for people and friends and now family to me that I met through this. So I'm like so beyond thankful for all of you. I need to get on with my to-do list. The next thing is laundry, which is not my least favorite thing to do. So I think I'll go and do that. Let me know what you're reading. What does your literary week look like? I'm excited to read on the airplane. It is my favorite place to read, is on a plane, and I've got an 8-hour flight. So who knows? I might bang through as much of the Iliad as possible. Speaking of, though, I should add to my list to put on my Kindle before the flight all the other options of books that I'm kind of into and might want for my long flight. Thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you later. I'm not sure if I'll upload very much while I'm away, but who knows? I'll see you when I see you. And in the meantime, definitely let me know what you're reading. Okay, bye.